60% of the way through the game right now as it currently stands with Expedition 33. What a wonderful game, but here's where I'm gonna go a little against the grain. So we finally made it to the monolith, and I don't know, there was this moment with the paintress, and you know, I barely tried to fight her because I had a feeling like this this was not going to be a boss fight. So I barely put my shoulder into it, and of course I was correct. It was not the boss fight. There was a cutscene. Now we get teleported inside the monolith, and now we have to. It's kind of like Evil Within, where once you get to a certain area of the game, you're experiencing like memories of the oh, what's his name? The baddie. How do I not know his name? I played Evil Within a lot. Maybe you call this an initial impressions video, but after like 20 hours and 60%, is it really an initial review? I don't know. So once you get into the monolith, all of a sudden, the game starts throwing areas at you all over again, like you experienced throughout the game. Like it just rehashes and stitches together like little micro versions of areas you've already visited, and maybe the enemies are just tougher, right? They're mini boss fights. So once you get into the monolith, I got smart and I started just kind of like navigating around them, and then it takes you back to the town or the city or a version of the city. Again, it's just we're getting 60% in, and now the game's recycling areas you've already been in. There's really nothing exciting to look at. You're just kind of like running around these enemies. You don't want to fight them. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but really at that point, I didn't want to. I just trying to navigate around them. And believe me, it does. It just micro stitches all these worlds that you've already explored, and they're just thrown at you left and right. Enemies you've already encountered, except for they're going to be more annoying than they were the first time you encountered them. So there's nothing new. Once you get into the monolith, it's just a bunch of rehash shit. And then, of course, what makes like insult to injury, now you're having to fight a particular boss all over again. And this time he can summon a lion. It's just, I feel like once you get to this point, it feels like the game's starting to run out of steam in terms of ideas. And the story is interesting. It was interesting, but it's kind of starting to, I don't know, collapse in on itself. Like, like even this right here. Like, you see how the game's recycling visually things, like visually recycling things. This is obviously related to what you've seen the whole time, right? And like I said, we're getting toward the end, the back end of the game, and we're starting to see the game start to recycle things and throw it at you. Like, it's obvious the developers are starting to run out of ideas. They do have a story here they're trying to tell, but they're starting to run out of ideas. And now they're just throwing things at you. And honestly, once I got to this boss fight, I started feeling a sense of fatigue wearing in on me. Like, I gotta deal with him again. I gotta deal with this again. Like, every boss fight up to this point kind of felt like I don't know, a victorious mile marker. But once you get to this point, things just they kind of start to sag a little. And I'm not trying to shit on the developers. I'm not trying to hate on the game. I have been enjoying the game. As a matter of fact, I started over again. I got all the way to what was it? After the Renoir, the first Renoir boss fight, uh, Rembrandt or whatever the fuck his name is. And I stopped and I started the game over again, this time being more meticulous and paying attention and looking at my, like, how do I want to do this sort of thing, right? So technically, this is my second playthrough, but this is the first time I've gotten here. And man, just coming off the back end of that one Axion fight with the singing seamstress, that was fucking amazing. I was enthralled in that entire experience, and the boss fight was fucking exquisite. The word exquisite is the best way to describe so much that this game has to offer you. But once you get to this point, ugh. But I'm gonna call this an initial review. It's really good, but and I'm not gonna lie, people can say what they want about the parry system, but there are moments where I feel like the parry system isn't working. It's not. It's not me, it's them. It's the game. All right, it's not me, it's you, right? It really is. Because I've spent quite a bit of time studying the parry system, and maybe it's just PlayStation 5. I think maybe they do need to widen that window a little bit because sometimes the parry system does not work. And the parry system is really important to the game. It's very important because you can put out so much damage in a counterattack, right? And I feel like the parry system is better than Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, but there's some frustrating misses, and I'm pretty sure it's not me. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna give Expedition 33 a 7 out of 10. There's a lot there's a lot of good stuff here, but I feel I feel like I'm on the cheap end of things right now, and I'm starting to see like the I don't know, everything past the seamstress where you have to take her essence. Oh, I don't know what she's called, but it was amazing. She sings, and you know, uh, it's wild game. But I'm gonna have to give this a 7 out of 10. Like, cause now we're getting into the back end of it, and now the game is just throwing stuff at you you've already seen, you've already experienced, and it just puts rage buffs on the enemies to where they get more turns than you do, and sometimes it feels never ending, so the best thing to do is to avoid them, while you're traversing through things you've already seen. And oh, by the way, as soon as you step into this arena, you're gonna deal with a boss you already you already vanquished. So it does. It feels like the game's starting to run out of ideas here. Mm, I don't know if 7 out of 10 is, maybe 7.5. 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, I will say that much. The game got me into turn-based combat. I don't like turn-based combat. I think it's shit. I think it's boring. I think it breaks up the flow, if you will, when you have to stop and you have to go through these silly little frickin' mini game battles. But this game is like, its combat's very good. It's not perfect, not at all, but it's good. It's very, very good. It had me invested, and I will eventually finish this game. But yeah, it's like the back end is just kind of like So maybe 7.5, 7.5 out of 10. That's what I'll give this. Really good ideas, but eventually the combat becomes very predictable. And then what makes it even worse is you start working your way through the monolith, and now you're just rehashing environments you've already experienced. So that must be related to the story. Like, it's convenient. I think it's a convenience on the developer's part. Like, well, we'll just say that now the player must go through all these environments all over again because they were related to the paintress's memories. We're going to cleverly force the player to revisit these areas again with even harder enemies, and we'll just claim, oh, it's part of the story. It's part of the nuance. It's part of her journey. And now you have to experience that journey all over again with some slightly different color variations. Yeah, I see what you've done there. Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's, okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, once you start getting into the combat and you start getting better at the combat, you start noticing the repetition of it all. But there has to be repetition because the parry system is so unforgiving that, and I would say maybe even a little on the buggy side, where you kind of have to hope that the enemy behaviors are familiar enough to where you can, survive. And sometimes they pull some really shitty, bullshitty moves off on you that you didn't see coming. And the game's like, oh, well, when you come back here the 20th time, because surely you will come back here, because our game is so amazing that you won't be caught off guard by those, sleight of hand shitty moves that we choreographed our enemies to do. And you'll feel so better once you've gotten better at it. Kind of like the boss that we're getting ready to. It's Renoir. We gotta fight him again, and this time he gets to summon a giant lion. So wait, it just kind of like stomps on you and does crazy shit because, you know, yeah, it feels okay. All right, yeah, yeah. But anyway, yes, I I haven't finished the game yet, so even though I'm more than halfway through, and I'm about 25-ish hours in, I'll say 7.5 out of 10. Again, this is not totally my cup of tea, but this game is very haunting. It's exquisite. It should probably be game of the year, but I'm being honest here. I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece." And a lot of those people are saying that, but they're never going to play this game again. They're never going to. They're going to get burnt out and then going to fuck off and go back to Apex Legends, Overwatch, Call of Duty, whatever it is they're playing. So yes, the game is very exquisite. It deserves all the praise it gets. But people saying this is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece and maybe my end of the game review will be a lot higher once I've finished the story. I kind of have an idea what's going on here, but I don't know. It's a 7.5 out of 10 to me. And yeah, a lot of people say 10 out of 10, this is a masterpiece, blah, blah, blah. Those people are not going to be playing this game in 2 weeks' time. They're going to go back and play whatever it is they've been playing when they're not playing games like this. So I'm just being honest here. This is my initial review. I am enjoying it. It's really forcing me out of my comfort zone. I appreciate that, but I don't appreciate how shitty the game can get sometimes and how recycled moments feel. You know, it's I don't know. I feel like I'm setting the bar high because the bar was very high at the very beginning. Like they were setting the bar very high for themselves, and we're getting on the ass end of the game now, and it feels like everything's just kind of like sagging down. It's buckling under the weight of its own greatness, and yeah, good game, fantastic. I'm gonna get a physical copy of this. I feel like this is a very very wonderful game, and yeah, I feel like better for having played it, and I probably will spend more time playing it. But yeah, the ass end of this game it's starting to sag a little bit. So 7.5 out of 10. We'll just call it that. Anyway, that's all I got for now. You all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, and I will catch you on the flip side.